Hi guys, Chris from Charged.Services. Just going to run through today with you a few of our new products, show you how to install them, what you should and shouldn't be doing with them. We've got the Charged FT100 Photocells, and we've got these interesting little things which are the Charged TOF100. So what this is normal per pack of photocells. These are both sides, so these are battery powered and AC and DC compatible, so you can have them wired, one side wireless, one side wired, whatever suits your needs. And then we have this device, which is basically a one-sided photocell. So the idea of this unit is that it's safe if you've got a cable problem, or for argument's sake, as we find quite a lot, you might be going to a gate that's been installed with no electronics, no wiring, and of which case, how are you going to wire both sides of the gate in order to have your sensors covering from one side to the other? So what we have, the first option is the battery powered photocells. So you can put the one side of the gate, this side, you put a battery powered transmitter, and on the receiving side you can have a receiving side transmitter. Big problem though that you get with this is that you need to have one on the inside and the outside of a sliding gate. For instance, if you use battery photocells, you can't have two transmitters at the same end. So if you have transmitters next to each other pointing at receivers, chances are, even if you block one, they'll still both be receiving from the other side. So you can get interference between those receivers, which means that the photocells won't work. So that's really where the TOF100 comes in. If you need to just you want inside and outside photocells, then the best thing for you to do is have yourself some of these fitted on the A-frame of a sliding gate. You can fit two of them, one either side, wire them back in, and then that will give you the ability to set the distance. I'll show you in the video how you program these and how you fit them, but they're very, very similar to just a standard receiving side of your photocell. The only difference is that when you install them, there's a process of calibrating the distance that you need to be away from the sensor. So I'm going to go straight into the unboxing and what you'll need to do with them in order to set them up, and then I'm going to show you ones that we installed on site. Right, so what we're going to show you now is we've got a set of FT100 photocells, and we've got a single TOF100 laser distance sensor. So what we're going to do, I'm going to set this up here on my DC power supply. This is what I use just on my test bench, but obviously we would be powering this up from the gate motor, control panel, etc. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an example, and to be fair, something I actually want to show you right now. So what we've got is we've got the universal battery photocells. And what's on this photocell, you can see it clicking away now, but this is because it's basically seeing no transmitter. This is what happens. It holds your, like triggers your relay. These are AC and DC compatible from 9 volts through to 30 volts AC DC. So you've got a massive electronic range. It will work with pretty much every one that's available, every gate system that's out there, it'll work with. You've got the option to change this little jump switch over, so it can be normally open or normally closed. Generally speaking, all of the systems that you'll be using will be wanting normally closed output from the photocell from a safety point of view. If you want to use it as a trigger, for instance, you might want this as, say, a third set of internal safety or as internal photocells in order to trigger the gate on the lead up to the gate when you're exiting. That will then give you a trigger signal to open the gate from a distance. And so how this is working, I'm currently holding the battery transmitter pointing at the photocell. If I turn it away, you'll see that effectively the beam is broken. The photocell is then triggering, and that's what's telling your gate that it shouldn't be closing, right? What I want to show you though on this is one thing that's really important, and in our installation video this comes up. It doesn't happen on every gate. Some gates will be more than others. It can be the fact of the power supply into it needs to be of an adequate supply. For instance, if you've got a gate that is already using the output from the board to supply multiple devices, give an example, you might have one photocell, you might have an internal photocell, you might have the photocells of different types, you might be running a Remotio, and you might have a keypad or something installed on that gate. What you get when you run a dedicated DC power supply is a dedicated filtered DC power supply at the amps rated. If you're running a power supply from, for instance, the gate control panel, you won't be getting a filtered supply, and you'll basically have a variable voltage. So what can happen is, for instance, you might be feeding this right now with 24 volts, and when the gate starts moving, your voltage might drop considerably. And if that voltage drop is, well, if the voltage is dropping considerably and you've got multiple devices on, you may find that the photocell will start to trigger inadvertently, or it won't trigger at all, because effectively it's down powering its relay. So when you have something like these, where you've got dedicated power supplies, you've got filtered like level voltages with a certain amount of like amp output. What we're using here on my bench tester, we have a DC power supply that's rated for up to 10 or 20 amps output, and we can variable the voltage however we need. Going to try and give an example. If we drop the voltage right down on it, let me show you the supply from here. You can see now we've just dropped underneath the 9 volts, and what you can do is cause problems with stuff like this, and that's basically how your unit's going to stop working. So you see, like here now, look, we've got a voltage because we've got 2 devices on. We're only inputting about 16 volts at the minute, and we're getting problems with the triggering. And until we get the voltage back up, we're always going to end up having these issues where it's dropping off and false triggering. So we can cause it like that by using our bench tester, dropping the voltage down to the point that the relay can't work, and that could be caused by you running your gate motor at the same time. So best thing to do is, if you can run them from a dedicated supply, or what you can often do to try to filter out the voltage is, if you take your ground supply, there you go, that's your point where it's dropped enough at about 14 volts, and this is only supplying these two sensors, and basically the sensor's now gone 40. It won't detect whether it's on or not. It's going to really misbehave. But so what you've got the option to do is, dedicated power supplies will fix most of your problem. If you can't do a dedicated power supply, then taking the the common cable. So one of these cables is going to be going back to your voltage from your panel. The other is going to be going to the common terminal on the panel. If at the panel you link the common to your earth input, so where you've got your mains coming in, you've got your 3 wires coming in, you want to link the earth to the common of your panel, that should stabilize the voltage and therefore fix a lot of these interference problems that you get on your photocells. But so that is how we do it, right? So the wiring is the same. You've simply got 24 volt in and 0 volt, which should be coming from your common terminals. Same on the FT100 and the TOF100. You then have your same outputs as well. You've got a normally open and a common. These are basically just a complete circuit. Obviously, it either clicks and opens and closes the circuit. You can see how the TOF1 works. I've already set this up short distance. Put your hand in front to break it. Take your hand away to leave it. And that's how you trigger the photocell. And that can be set up simply when we power it on. I'll see if I can do it now. It needs to be on its first power. So I'll quickly power that down, we'll do it again. So, right, so if you want to program the distances of the TOF100, when you first power it up, you do 5 swipes of the photocell and it double beeps. You set a distance by using either like a sign or something like that. You can stand in front of it at a certain distance. You leave it to calibrate. It then finalises its calibration. The light then turns on, and then now we can move away from it. If we break it in any of that distance, the sensor now triggers. So these are a great way of doing it if you don't have any of the devices around. You just want to get it done quick. You can put it on one side, whereas the FT100, you've got the you've got obviously the battery photocell that you've got to keep on there as well. So I'll show you the next steps on our installation video of the FT100. Bear in mind the process is exactly the same for both. Drilling it out, fitting it. We've made them quite generic. We like to make sure that you've got enough space behind the actual control panels. You've got loads of room in here. What we tend to do is, because you'll never really get a perfect location to get 3 screw holes in it, we'll use 2 4mm self tappers that you can get from Screwfix. Trying to use quite a thin one, drill them straight through in the top and bottom. That gets it on. Get one in centered, get your cable hole done, and then drill your other one, and then you can put your TOF100 back in it, or you can put your FT100s on the pivots. FT100s do actually work 180 degrees, so you can point them sideways at each other with the casing on. They still work 180 degrees. Get a couple of questions about that. Like, they do generally look like a front fit, but they have an open side, so when you put them in, you can close the unit up and it still works at a 180 degree as well. So it doesn't matter which way you fit them, you can use them either way. On the battery side of the photocell, comes with batteries included, which is a nice touch. A lot of them don't, but also if you turn this one 90 degrees, you've got the power terminals on the back. So again, AC, DC, 9 to 30 volts. But if you're going to run them on mains, you've got to take the batteries out. So just remember, batteries out if you're going to use mains. But same thing, 90 degree turn in either direction. And that is very simply our universal charged FT100s. So if you have a look online, you can buy them from us directly. You can also buy them from Amazon. Whether you buy from the website, you buy from us directly, they both come with prime delivery. So you tend to get your stuff either on same day or following day, which is always a touch, especially if you're out there installing. They also come with the instructions in the box. However, we know none of you really read them, so watching a video for a quick 10 minutes is probably the best thing for you. So watch for the next step. I'll put the segments on the bottom of the video so you can go for the live install, and you don't have to waste your time looking at all the rest of it if you don't want to. So this is the installation of the charged FT100 photocell. You've got battery and 9 to 26 volt DC and AC supply, so you can use these with or without batteries depending on your situation. In this instance, this is a quick install for a gate that we have already done, which was primarily just a field gate. Now it's the entrance to an Airbnb, so it has to have some additional upgrades. So we're putting a photocell battery operated on a standalone post, and on the other side we're installing over here the wired receiver section. James is just wiring that now, and the receiver unit has got the power pins, which are, again, you've got AC or DC, 12 or 24 volt input, so you can wire them in any polarity into the first 2 pins. You've then got the COM and the normally open or normally closed, and then you just change the jumper at the top to be normally closed or normally open dependent on the moment of operation. So if you want these to be, say, a trigger open, you can set them as normally open. When someone comes up, it will trigger, that will set your gates to open. Or if you use them as a photocell safety, you can leave them as normally closed, and they actually have 180 degree field of vision. So we've installed our posts and we've installed our photocells both sides. Everything's wired in, and this has actually presented us with a perfect example of a fault that comes up more in rural areas, and it is to do with the earth supply and the quality of earth to your installation. So where we are in Essex, most of our installs are fairly modern, let's say modern builds, modern electrical installations, and they use a TNCS electrical supplier, whereas today we're actually in a rather rural area in Essex, where the house is actually on a TT supplier all the way over there, and it's all fed in armour cable. Electricians have come and put this in, and there's a connection here at the box for the control unit. But what we're seeing right now is our photocell is working, right? We can test the voltage, which I'm just going to pop these 2 pins in here now while I'm filming. And you can see we've got 27.5 volts roughly. What we're now going to do is I'm going to show you that the photocell works when we block it. You can see the lights coming on. And James, can you trigger the gate for me? So now the gate is moving, the voltage is changing ever so slightly, but now when we block the photocell doesn't work. And this is basically to do with a level of interference, electrical interference, when the gate is under load. So you see now, when the gate's stopping, the photocell's coming on, and we're basically having this inconsistent issue, right? As soon as we go and we earth the panel, this issue is going away. So the photocell's not working. You can see where I'm in front of it. It should be completely blocked. And when we earth it, all of a sudden we fix that problem. So I'm just going to get James to plug in the earth connection now. So the earth is now on. Right, and so now we've got our earth connection connected, and our photocell, when we block it, is working, triggering, showing that something's in the way. And now, James, if you trigger the gate, what we was having a minute ago was the photocell wouldn't work. Now the photocell is working with the gate opening, and you see it's triggering to let you know something's there. And the way it works, and we block it again, and the photocell is triggering. And it's all down to connecting. In this instance, you connect the earth supply to the common of the control board, and that eliminates that change in frequency when the gate is running. So a really interesting thing. It doesn't happen a lot, but if you've got a non-filtered supply, again, most of our new installations, we install our control cabinets that have got filtered power supplies, and we earth everything out to the cabinet. So we don't tend to have any of these issues with our own installs, but this one comes up as something I've seen quite a lot on the online groups, why you can have temperamental faults with your photocells. Hello guys, so post fitted with sensors on, all testing and working, so they'll allow the gate to open. What I thought we'd do is that, because you don't want to get stuck in heavy fog or stuff like that, so you want them to be able to open, not close. So basically, if you're parked here and you're in the way of the gate won't close until you've cleared both sensors. Okay. So again, thanks for watching. What you'll see on obviously fitting your photocells is our other options are the sun and rain shields that go. So guys, thanks for watching. You'll see on our videos on our Charged store, you can also order yourself up some rain shield and sun covers for your photocells if that becomes a problem for you. Not generally a massive issue we have here in the UK. I know some places, sometimes just the place of the install of the gate can often lead to really sunny or real heavy exposure to fog and rain, etc. If you haven't checked out any of our other products, you can check out the Charged stainless steel anti-vandal keypad. This one is with Prox. We have a new one with IP remote login, so you can set the keypad codes remotely without having to go out to the keypad. And if you haven't checked it out yet, you want to have yourself a look at getting a Remotio free. Probably the best product that we sell. We sell about 1,000 of these a year now, and we fit them as standard on every single gate install. We try to avoid using remote fobs where we can, purely from a security basis, that the remote fobs can be cloned so easily now. And obviously the introduction of Remotio free gets rid of that, makes it completely secure, app-based certificate on your phone, unhackable. It's a great product, and it's certainly a lot more convenient setting yourself up with schedules and everything else that you might want to do with your gates. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.